Hello, it's Di here with my June layout for UK Scrap Addicts. June is a month for mixed media, and so I'm using some art crayons. I've got various ones in there. I've got Vicky Bouton, I've got Derwent, and I've got some gelatos in there as well. And I'm just basically scribbling onto a piece of acetate packaging from one of my kits, maybe just like the stickers that come with the kits or ephemera. I keep all the packaging for this reason. So as you can see, I'm just again scribbling onto the acetate and then spritzing with just a little bit of water to get some movement into the pigment of the crayons, and then just dabbing it onto the paper just quite randomly, really, just to get the colour onto the paper without adding too much water and too much moisture. So what I'm doing now is, through the stencil, I'm just using a sponge dauber, and I'm using the wet wipe just to add a little bit of moisture to the sponge, and it helps just to pick up the colour off of the acetate, and it also helps just to blend it slightly better on the paper, it's on the card itself. So as you can see, I don't add much moisture, it's just enough just for the sponge to be able to pick up the pigment off of the acetate, and then just to blend it into the stencil. Now I've chosen quite sort of autumnal colours, just because that's the colours sort of in the photo itself. The photo was actually taken in March, so Molly's scarf has got quite a lot of like browns and reds in, and obviously the chocolate drinks at the forefront of the photo have got like mocha and browns in, so I'm using that there. So just to add one other sort of dimension to the mixed media here, I'm just using a water brush to flick some splats onto the card itself then around. Now I'm choosing quite a bright colour to mat the photo in, just to make it pop against the more sort of subtle yellows and browns that I've used so far, and just to bring out the sort of like the pinky reds in Molly's scarf there. And I've decided, because I've used that pink background, I'm just going to add a touch of pink and red to a couple more hearts on the page, just to add in that other colour into the background as well, just very subtly, nothing too heavy. Another reason for using the wet wipe, just to add the moisture in there, because I've already got the moisture on the paper from the spritzing to start with. Sorry, it just, if you put too much moisture again on there and then you're rubbing it through the stencil, it will pill the paper. That sort of top layer of paper, it will sort of like start to pill it, because obviously you've got like a slightly damp paper anyway, and so that's another reason for not adding any more moisture when you do the sponging on there. So the papers I'm using for this are the Amy Tangerine Stay Sweet 6x8 paper pad that I had as part of the the Sweet Memories kit from Lottie Loves paper, and these are some of the leftover pieces I've got, so I'm just using up some of that on this. So now I'm happy with the placement of the papers. I'm just going to stick those down, as always, starting with the bottom layer and then working my way up. Oh, just a little bit fiddly there. And this cut apart sheet is from the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Happiness range, and I just thought that that sentiment there was perfect, showing that Molly's quite enjoying her chocolate milkshake that we were having. This is actually in Chocky Wocky Doodah in London, and was part of her 21st birthday treat. We had sort of 11sies there before spending an hour or so, I think it was, in Lush on Oxford Street, and then we explored a bit more of London for the rest of the day. But this was something that she'd always wanted to do, so I obliged. So all I'm doing now is adding some more ephemera and embellishments to the page. Again, these are all just leftovers from the Sweet Moments kit, and these are the flowers are part of the Paige Taylor Evans and Pink Paisley Horizon collection. So I'm just trying to layer some of these up if I can. And then when I'm happy, I will stick them down again from the bottom of the pile upwards, using my tacky glue for the smaller bits. Because my craft room gets quite hot and is directly in a window, sometimes my glue gets goes a little bit funny and a little bit runny, I think, where it gets too hot sometimes. So I was just testing it out on the card to make sure that it was flowing okay. And as you see in a minute, it actually drips onto my mat there. It's just one of the hazards of having a nice warm craft room, but I'm not going to complain about that because I have a craft room. So it's just one of those things to put up with, really. So I'm going to put some foam squares on the back of this little flower cluster, just to add a little bit of dimension to the page, as I haven't added any anywhere else. And then all I'm going to do then is very roughly draw a border around the page, just to bring it all together and to sort of enclose it. I do this and I don't worry about straight lines because I like it to be a little bit doodly, and then what I do is I go back over the other way, so you've got almost like a double line border, and as I say, it's never perfect and never straight, but that's quite how I like it. and then I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling to explain where we were and what we were doing on that day, and then that will be the end of my mixed media page. We'll hopefully see you over in the Facebook group, and I'll be back in July with another video. Thank you, bye!